All right, I'm going to be talking about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Specifically, I'm going to build a case that Adam perhaps wasn't shoulder to shoulder with Eve when she took of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Because a lot of people think that Adam was right there. And I think that is a bit of a misconception because of how we approach reading the Bible. And I'm going to try and build a case around that. I'm going to make this a quick video and read this for yourself and see what you think. So let's just go to chapter 3 where the woman, verse 6, chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So on the first passing you go, well, it says he was with her, and that means he was right there watching it. And I thought that for a little bit. But then in verse 12, the man says, so you got verse 6, which is interesting, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Verse 12, and the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me. Verse 6, with her. Verse 12, with me. So when you see verse 12, and the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, do you think that that means that she is joined to his hip? Like literally, when God says the two shall be one flesh, that they are walking around shoulder to shoulder, attached to each other. Wherever Adam goes, Eve is there. And wherever Eve goes, Adam is there. No, I think that means God gave the woman to be with him, to be his wife. So they are together. So then when you see this, now it kind of makes a little bit more sense. And gave, on verse 6, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So then when you come to verse 11, chapter 3, we're backing up a bit. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. It's starting to feel now that perhaps Adam was doing something else, and all of a sudden Eve shows up and says, hey, look what I have. Eat this. And Adam didn't even blink. It's like, oh, cool. Goes back to work, whatever it is. And that's what I think happened, because if you go down to verse 13, and Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, tricked me, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, above every beast of the field, and upon thy belly thou shalt go, and thus so shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed, her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow, thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be unto thy husband. He shall rule over thee. Unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, in sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. So, verse 17, let's just read this one more time. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife. Meaning, you are just listening to her voice. You're not even questioning the food that is being brought to you. Like, you didn't even ask. You didn't even say, where did this come from? Oh, I got it from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Whoa, hang on here. Eve, time out here. Do you know what you just did? It was almost like, here's something that I have. Eat it. He didn't even question it. He didn't even question it. He just took it. So I think that's what's happening here. Because if you go further, and I'll wrap this up real quick here. When Hagar gets cast away, Hagar sent away, chapter 21. Lord visited Sarah, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived, bare Abraham a son in his old age at a said time. Abraham called him Isaac, and Abraham circumcised Isaac. And Abraham was 100 years old when the son was born. And Sarah said, God has made me laugh. I'm skimming here. Hear all that will laugh with me. And she said, who would have? And Abraham, let's go down. All right. Verse 9. Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had been born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And this thing was very grievous unto Abraham in Abraham's sight because of his son. So he was thinking about this. This is a horrible situation. I love my son Ishmael, and I don't want to cast him away. He's wrestling with this. Verse 12, and God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So he says this time, hearken unto her voice. Listen to her without question. Don't question her. Don't try and reason your way through this. Don't say, you know what, Sarah, we could probably make this work where Ishmael could live with us and all this kind of stuff. He said, don't, just hearken unto her voice. Again, when you get back to Genesis, God said, because you hearken unto her voice without question. Again, if you look at it this way, Abraham is questioning what Sarah wanted him to do. He's thinking about this. He's reasoning this out. And God is saying, hearken unto her voice. In Genesis, he's telling Adam, because you hearken, as in you made a split decision. You didn't even think about it. You're working away like most men do. All of a sudden, here's a piece of fruit. You don't even say anything. This happened to me one time. I'll wrap this up real quick. I was watching War of the Worlds, a documentary on the War of the Worlds, and I was just glued to the TV. And my brother-in-law comes up to me and says, hey, you want a snack? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I didn't even look away from the screen. I started eating it. I looked down and everyone's laughing. It was dog food, dog biscuits. I didn't reason my way through that one. I didn't look at it and go, what is this? Well, it's dog food. I don't want dog food. Anyways, I think that's what happened with Adam. So if you have a comment to add, feel free to add and share and like, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, especially if you like this kind of thing. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in another video. Bye for now.